The galaxy was wide, silent, and cold. Stars burned in the distance, their light too far to give warmth. In that endless dark, a small alien ship drifted like a lost tear. Inside, a mother held her son in her arms. Her child was dying. His breaths came weak and shallow. His small chest rose and fell like a candle about to fade. His lungs, made for the thick air of his homeworld, were failing in this part of space. No medicine worked. No healer could cure him. The mother's eyes were red from tears. Her body trembled, but her arms held the boy tightly as if she could keep life inside him with love alone. She knew the laws. She knew the warnings. In this galaxy, there was one rule above all others. No human must interfere with alien biology. It was forbidden. Humans were considered dangerous, reckless, unpredictable. They were known for breaking limits, for ignoring the rules of nature. But the mother was desperate. Her people had turned away. The council had refused her plea. They said the boy cannot be saved. Accept fate she could not accept, and so she sent a signal into the void. A call, a cry, a scream of hope. At first, silence answered. Then a sound, a deep voice through the comms. A human voice, her heart froze. Fear and hope fought inside her chest. The human ship drew near, larger and stronger than hers. Its engines hummed with power. Its lights shone like sharp eyes cutting through the dark. The human captain appeared on the screen. His face was lined with age and storms. His eyes were calm but strong. Who calls? He asked. His voice carried no warmth but no cruelty either. The mother fell to her knees. She pressed her forehead to the floor, trembling. Please, she whispered. My son, my only son. His lungs are failing. He cannot breathe. No one will help us. I beg you, save him. The human captain did not answer right away. His crew looked at him in silence. They all knew the law. Helping her would mean breaking it. The punishment was heavy. Exile, prison, maybe even death. Still, the mother pressed her hands together, begging. I know your kind is forbidden. I know mercy is dangerous, but I have no one else. Please, Captain, please. Behind her, the boy coughed. The sound was sharp, painful, and weak. His small hand reached out, fingers curling in the air as if reaching for life itself. The human captain's eyes narrowed. For a moment, his mind drifted to the memory of his own child, a little girl who once struggled to breathe when sickness caught her. He remembered sitting by her side, praying for air to return to her lungs. He remembered the fear, the helplessness. He could not watch another parent suffer the same pain, but he also knew the law. If he chose mercy, it would not only risk his life, it would risk his crew as well. Why us? The captain asked, his voice steady. Why humans? The mother lifted her head. Her eyes shone with tears, but also with fire. Because you are the only ones who dare the impossible. They call you dangerous. They say you break laws. They say you ignore the limits of nature. That is why I come to you. Because I need someone who will not accept death. Someone who will fight it. Her words echoed in the silent bridge of the human ship. The crew shifted uneasily, their hearts torn between fear and pity. The boy gasped again, his breath thin as paper. His small voice whispered, Mother. The mother broke into tears, holding him close. She whispered back, Hold on, my son, hold on. The captain stood tall, his jaw set. He looked at the boy, then at his crew. They were waiting for his word. Mercy or law? Life or obedience? Finally, he spoke. Bring them aboard. Gasps filled the room. One officer stepped forward. Captain, the law. I know the law, the captain said, his voice like steel. But I also know this. A child should not die while we have the power to help. The crew fell silent. The choice was made. The alien mother's sobs of relief filled the comms. She bowed so low her forehead touched the floor again. Thank you. Thank you, human. May the stars bless you. The human ship opened its bay doors. The alien vessel was guided inside. The mother carried her son in her arms, his weak body wrapped in thin cloth. As she stepped onto the human deck, she looked up at the tall humans around her. Fear trembled in her heart, but stronger than fear was hope. The captain stepped forward. His eyes softened just a little as he looked at the boy. We will try, he said. The mother clutched her son tightly. For the first time in many days, she let herself believe. But deep in the shadows of space, unseen eyes were watching. The patrols of the Galactic law were always near. And if they discovered what had just happened, the price would be terrible. Still, in that moment, only one truth mattered. The cry in the void had been answered, and mercy had begun its dangerous work. The alien mother stood on the deck of the human ship, her arms wrapped around her son, whose breaths came slow and shallow. The human crew stared in silence. Some looked at the boy with pity. Others looked with fear. All of them felt the weight of the law pressing down on their shoulders. The captain walked forward. His boots echoed against the metal floor. His face was hard, but his eyes held a storm. He stopped in front of the mother. The child coughed again, the sound small yet sharp, like glass breaking in the quiet. The mother bowed deeply. "Please," she whispered. "You said you would try. Do not let my son die." The captain looked down at the boy. He remembered again his own daughter, once lying weak in a hospital bed on Earth fighting for breath. He had sworn never to feel that helpless again. Now he stood on the edge of another impossible choice. The crew whispered behind him, "Captain, this is madness. If the patrol finds out, we're finished. They'll strip us of our license." Or worse, one officer stepped forward. His name was Lieutenant Karen, young but loyal. He saluted sharply. "Captain, with respect, the law is clear. We must not interfere with alien biology. If we do, we risk everything. For one child, it isn't worth the ship." The words cut deep. The crew shifted uneasily, waiting for the captain's answer. The mother clutched her son tighter. Her voice shook. "You speak of law. I speak of life. Is your law so strong that it cannot bend for a child?" Silence spread like a shadow across the room. The captain's jaw clenched. He turned to his chief engineer, a broad man named Ortega. "Can it be done?" Ortega rubbed his chin, studying the boy's weak chest. "Alien lungs, alien blood. But maybe if we build a machine, something to replace the failing lungs, an artificial system, a human system but adapted." Gasps rose from the crew. The very thought was forbidden. To craft a human device and place it inside alien flesh, that was the greatest crime of all. The captain's second officer, a woman named Hale, shook her head. "Captain, think of what you're suggesting. If the council hears of this, we will be hunted. Not just you, all of us. Are you ready to risk the lives of your crew?" The captain did not answer right away. His eyes went to the boy, whose breath rattled like broken machinery. Then he looked at the mother's face, tear-stained, desperate, filled with a fire that no fear could put out. He turned back to his officers. His voice came low, heavy with decision. "I will not stand by and watch a child die while we have the power to help. Law or no law, this boy will live if we can make it so." Hale's lips pressed thin. Karen's fists clenched. Ortega nodded slowly, already imagining wires, filters, oxygen pumps. The mother fell to her knees before the captain. "Mercy," she whispered. "You give mercy." But mercy carried a shadow. On the edge of the ship's sensors, a signal flickered. A galactic patrol beacon. They were close. Too close. The crew saw it on the screen. Fear spread through them. If the patrol scanned their ship and discovered what they were planning, punishment would fall like a hammer. Lieutenant Karen hissed, "We're already in danger. If they scan us now, they'll sense alien life inside our ship. They'll ask questions. They'll know." The captain's eyes sharpened. "Then we keep them from knowing. We stall them. We lie if we must, but we do not stop." The crew exchanged uneasy looks. Some wanted to obey the law. Others wanted to obey the captain. The weight of the choice pressed on each heart. Meanwhile, Ortega crouched beside the boy. He touched the alien child's thin wrist, feeling the faint pulse. His rough voice softened. "Hold on, little one. We'll give you air. We'll give you life." The boy's eyes fluttered open. For a moment, his weak gaze met the human engineer's. His lips moved. "Will I live?" The engineer swallowed hard. He forced a smile. "Yes, you will live." But no one in the room could say for sure. The captain gave his final order. "Begin the work quietly, no signals. No records. What we do here must remain hidden." The mother bowed low again, tears falling to the floor. "I will never forget this. You risk everything for us. Why?" The captain looked at her, his face grim but his voice steady. "Because mercy is stronger than fear, and because no law will make me watch a child die." The words filled the room heavy as iron. Some hearts were lifted by them, others sank deeper in dread. But all knew the path was set. In the dark halls of the ship, machines roared to life. Metal was shaped. Tubes and filters were prepared. Human hands worked quickly, secretly against time itself. And outside, in the silent void, the shadow of the patrol ship grew closer. The human's dilemma was no longer just his own. It belonged to every soul aboard. The workshop of the human ship was alive with hidden fire. Sparks flew as metal was cut, shaped, and welded. Machines hummed, wires glowed faintly, and the smell of burning steel mixed with the sharp tang of oil. Every sound echoed like a heartbeat of defiance. The alien boy lay on a narrow bed in the corner. His breaths were faint and uneven, each one sounding like a plea. The mother sat beside him, her hands gripping his small fingers tightly. She watched the humans work, fear and hope battling inside her chest. Chief Engineer Ortega bent over a table cluttered with parts, oxygen filters, tubes, pumps stolen from life support systems. His thick hands moved quickly yet carefully, turning scraps of the ship into something new. His brow was wet with sweat. Lieutenant Karen stood nearby, arms crossed, his jaw tight with anger. "This is madness," he muttered. "Every moment we keep him here, the patrol draws closer. Do you not feel the noose tightening?" Ortega grunted, not looking up. "Every moment we waste arguing is another breath this boy loses. If you want to save your neck, Karen, then leave. But don't waste mine." The mother's eyes darted between them. She spoke softly, her voice trembling. "Please, do not fight. Every second matters." The captain entered, his boots heavy against the floor. He carried no tools, no wires, yet the weight of command rested heavier than steel. His eyes swept the room, at Ortega building, at Karen doubting, at the boy fading. "How long?" the captain asked. Ortega wiped his forehead with a cloth, leaving a smear of grease. "If I push the systems, maybe a few hours. But Captain, this is no simple machine. Alien blood may reject it. The body may fight it. I am walking in darkness here." The captain's jaw hardened. "Then walk faster." A silence fell. The only sound was the boy's weak breathing, each gasp a knife in the mother's heart. The mother leaned closer to Ortega, whispering, What are you making?" Ortega glanced at her, his rough face softening just slightly. "Artificial lungs. A machine to take air, clean it, push it into his blood. They will not be like his own. But if the body accepts them, he will live." Her eyes widened. You can give him new lungs?" Ortega hesitated. "I can try." The word try shook her. But hope once lit is hard to kill. She kissed her son's forehead, whispering, "Do you hear, my child? The humans will give you breath again." Meanwhile, outside the workshop, Officer Hale watched the sensors. The patrol ship was moving closer, its scanners brushing against the edges of their signal. Her stomach twisted with fear. She opened a comm to the captain. "Sir, they're scanning in wide arcs. If they lock onto our ship, they'll board us. We must prepare a story, something to hide what we are doing." The captain answered without hesitation. "Then prepare it. Buy us time, no matter the cost." Hale closed her eyes, her hands trembling. She knew lies against the patrol rarely lasted long, but what choice was left? Back in the workshop, sparks lit Ortega's face as he fused two pieces of metal. The shape of the device was forming. Two clear chambers for air, a set of tubes that would connect to the boy's throat, a pump to push oxygen. It was not beautiful. It was raw, sharp, forbidden, but it pulsed with human genius. Lieutenant Karen paced like a caged animal. "Do you not understand?" he hissed. "If they find us guilty, they will not care about mercy. They will burn this ship. All of us dead for one child." The captain's voice cracked like thunder. "Then we die for something worthy." Karen stopped, his face pale. He had no answer. The mother looked up at the humans, her voice breaking. "You risk everything. For my son. I do not understand why." The captain met her eyes. "Because laws may build walls, but mercy breaks them. And sometimes breaking a wall is the only way to see the stars." Her tears fell freely now, but they were not only tears of fear. They carried gratitude and something she had almost forgotten. Faith. The boy coughed violently, his small body shuddering. His lips turned pale, his chest barely rising. The mother cried out, clutching him close. "Please, he is slipping." Ortega rushed forward with the half-finished device. Not ready, but it must do. He grabbed the tubes, fitting them near the boy's throat. His hands shook, not from fear, but from urgency. The captain held the boy still. The mother whispered prayers in a language none of the humans understood. For a long moment, the boy did not breathe. His small chest lay still. The mother screamed, "No!" Then air hissed through the tubes. The pump clicked, pushing oxygen into the chambers. The boy's chest rose faintly, then fell, then rose again. A fragile rhythm began. Weak, trembling, but there. The mother gasped, pressing her lips to her son's forehead. He breathes. He breathes. But Ortega shook his head. Not enough. This is only the first step.
His body must accept the machine.
If it rejects, he will die. If the patrol finds us, we will die. We walk a blade's edge. The captain looked at his crew. Their faces were pale, their eyes wide with fear. Yet no one stopped. The boy had taken his first fragile breath of forbidden hope. And outside, the shadow of the patrol loomed closer, their scanners brushing ever nearer. The clock was ticking. The boy breathed through the strange human machine. His chest rose and fell in a fragile rhythm, each breath soft but alive. The mother sat beside him, her eyes locked on his face. She did not dare blink, afraid that if she looked away, the air might stop again. Around her, the human crew moved like shadows, hushed voices, quick steps, tools hidden away whenever footsteps echoed in the halls. They all knew danger was close. On the command deck, Officer Hale's hands danced across the console. Her voice was sharp with urgency. Captain, the patrol ship has closed distance. They are scanning us now. The captain stood with arms folded, his face carved from stone. Report, Hale swallowed. Long-range scan complete. They know our position. They will demand contact soon. A heavy silence fell. The law was clear. If the patrol found an alien child aboard a human ship, the punishment would be swift. No trial, no mercy. The captain's jaw tightened. Then we lie. Lieutenant Karen spun toward him, outrage in his eyes. Captain, lying to the patrol is suicide. They will smell it. They always do. And if they board, the captain cut him off with a glare. If they board, we stall them. Every breath that boy takes is worth the risk. Karen's fists clenched, but he said nothing more. The comm crackled to life. A cold, mechanical voice filled the room. Human vessel, identify yourself. This is Galactic Patrol Unit 17. You are within restricted travel lanes. State your purpose. The crew tensed. The captain gave Hale a nod. She answered with a calm she did not feel. This is the freighter Artemis, transporting raw ore from the belt to Kepler Station. Our purpose is trade, the voice replied, flat and sharp. We require boarding for verification. Stand by. The words fell like a hammer. The mother, listening from the workshop, froze. Her arms pulled her son closer, shielding him. Boarding? She whispered in terror. Ortega cursed under his breath. If they step in here, we're done. The boy, the machine, all of us. The captain's voice echoed through the ship, steady and cold. All non-essential areas sealed. Ortega, hide what you can. Hale, stall their boarding. Karen, prepare to meet them. Lieutenant Karen's lips thinned. At last, something that makes sense. The patrol ship loomed on the screen, sleek and sharp like a blade in the dark. Its lights pierced the black void, scanning every inch of the Artemis. A docking clamp reached out like the hand of a judge. Inside the workshop, Ortega threw a cloth over the machine. The pump still hissed faintly, tubes pulsing with oxygen. He pressed a finger to his lips, warning the mother to keep silent. The boy stirred, his small hand twitching. His voice came weak but clear. Mother? The mother's tears burned as she leaned close. Quiet, my love. Do not speak. Just breathe. Footsteps rang through the ship. The patrol had boarded. 2 armored officers entered the deck, their visors black and unreadable. They carried scanners that swept the air with a hum. Behind them walked their commander, tall and cold, his silver badge shining under the ship's lights. Inspection, the commander said simply. His voice was like ice. The captain stepped forward, calm but defiant. Our manifest is in order. Ori shipments. You'll find nothing unlawful here. The commander's eyes narrowed. We will decide that. The scanners beeped as they swept across the rooms. The sound was small but terrifying, each tone like a countdown to doom. In the workshop, the mother clutched her son as the hum grew louder. Ortega stood in front of the bed, his broad back hiding the boy from view. Sweat ran down his face, but he did not move. The scanner beeped again, louder this time. The officer frowned, adjusting the device. From the deck, Hale's voice cracked slightly. Captain, they are detecting something. The patrol commander tilted his head. Biological signature. Not human, explain. The crew froze. The mother's heart thundered in her chest. The boy coughed suddenly, the sound muffled by Ortega's body. The commander's gaze sharpened. You carry alien life aboard. That is forbidden. The captain's face did not change. He spoke slowly, carefully. We picked up a drifting pod. The life inside was already dead. We kept the body to turn over at the next station. It is our duty to return the lost. The commander studied him, silent for a long moment. The crew held their breath. Finally, he gave a curt nod. Show us. Ortega's stomach dropped. The mother's blood turned to ice. The captain's eyes narrowed, but his voice stayed calm. Very well. Follow me. As they walked toward the workshop, every step rang like a drumbeat of doom. The crew moved in silence, their hearts pounding. Inside the workshop, the mother kissed her son's forehead and whispered, "Stay still, my child. Do not make a sound." She pulled the cloth higher, hiding the tubes. Ortega's massive body loomed in front of the bed, his hands clenched into fists. The door slid open. The commander stepped inside, his scanner glowing. He looked at Ortega first, then at the covered shape behind him. "What is this?" he asked coldly. The captain stood tall, his voice even. "The pod we recovered." As I said, the life form inside was dead. The commander's eyes narrowed. His hand hovered near his sidearm. The scanner hummed louder. The mother pressed her lips against her son's hair, praying his fragile breaths would not betray them. And in that moment, with the law standing inches away, the fate of the boy, and the humans who dared mercy, balanced on a knife's edge. The room was silent, but the silence was heavy. The Galactic Patrol commander stood only a few steps away, his scanner glowing red. Behind Ortega's broad back, the alien boy lay hidden under a cloth, the human-made machine hissing faintly. Each pump of air was a risk. Each breath could betray them. The commander's visor tilted. "Strange readings," he said. "This signature does not match any ore shipment." "Show me." The captain stepped forward, his voice calm, steady. "You see a shape under a cover, nothing more. We picked it up in space, already lifeless. Let us give it to the council at Kepler Station. Nothing more." The commander's gaze was cold. He was not convinced. His hand moved closer to his sidearm. "Remove the cover." The mother's heart froze. The boy stirred faintly under the cloth, a tiny sound escaping his lips. She pressed her hand to his mouth, whispering against his hair, "Quiet, my love, quiet." But the commander had heard enough. He lifted a finger. The scanner hummed louder, sweeping directly over the bed. The device beeped, a clear sign of living tissue. The officers raised their weapons. "Alive," one of them said sharply. The captain's voice cracked like thunder. "Stand down." The patrol commander turned on him. "You defy galactic law. You harbor alien life aboard your ship. You dare to hide it?" The crew tensed. Ortega stepped aside at last, revealing the bed. The cloth slipped back. The boy lay there, chest rising with faint effort, tubes running into his throat. The machine hissed and clicked, glowing with forbidden human engineering. The commander's eyes widened for only a moment before narrowing into anger. "What is this abomination?" The mother leapt forward, falling to her knees before him. "Please!" she cried. "He is my son." He was dying. The humans gave him air, they gave him life. The commander did not look at her. His gaze stayed fixed on the boy, as if the child himself were a crime. "Remove the device. End this now." The mother's scream broke the air. "No, without it he dies." The boy coughed, his body trembling. His small hand reached weakly toward the human captain. The captain's chest tightened. He stepped forward, placing himself between the commander and the bed. "No," the captain said. His voice carried steel. "The boy breathes, he lives, and I will not allow you to take that from him." The room crackled with danger. The patrol officers raised their weapons higher. The crew of the Artemis placed hands on their holsters, tension like a stretched rope ready to snap. Ortega's hands shook as he adjusted the tubes. "Captain, the machine isn't stable. I need time." Time was the one thing they did not have. The boy's chest faltered. The machine hissed unevenly. The mother cried out, clutching his hand. "He's slipping!" Ortega shouted, "I need power now." The captain barked an order. "Divert auxiliary to the workshop." The lights flickered as energy poured into the machine. The pumps grew louder, faster. The chambers glowed faintly as oxygen surged through them. The boy's chest rose again, slow, weak, but rising. Every eye in the room locked on him. The mother's tears poured freely. Her lips moved in desperate prayer. The boy lay still for a moment too long. Then his chest lifted in a strong breath. His lips, pale before, gained a faint glow of color. His fingers twitched, curling around his mother's hand. The first strong breath. The mother sobbed with joy, pressing her face to his small hand. He lives. My son lives. The crew let out breaths they hadn't realized they were holding. Even Ortega closed his eyes, whispering, "By the stars." "It works," but the patrol commander's voice cut through the relief like a blade. "You have broken the highest law. This is forbidden technology. This is human interference with alien flesh. You have crossed the line." The captain's gaze met his, firm and unyielding. "We crossed the line to save a life. If that is a crime, then so be it." The boy coughed again, but this time his voice was stronger, clearer. His eyes fluttered open. He looked at the captain, then at the humans around him. His small voice whispered, "Thank you, human." The room froze. The patrol commander stared at the child as if struck. For the first time, his face cracked, just a shadow of uncertainty flashing behind his visor. But it vanished as quickly as it came. "Prepare for judgment," he said coldly. "You will all stand before the council, and mercy will not save you there." The officers stepped forward, weapons ready. The crew stiffened, hands hovering near their guns, torn between surrender and fight. The mother clutched her son close, whispering, "Breathe, my child. Just breathe." And as the boy's fragile but steady breaths filled the air, everyone in the room knew the truth. The boy's life had been given back, but the humans' own lives now hung by the thinnest thread. The first breath was victory, but it was also the spark of a storm that could consume them all. The patrol ship escorted the Artemis under heavy guard. Its silver hull glowed cold against the black void, a predator dragging its prey. Inside, silence ruled. The humans were stripped of weapons. The mother and her son were locked in a small chamber. The machine that kept the boy alive still hissed quietly, pumping forbidden hope into fragile lungs. The captain sat with his crew, hands bound, his gaze fixed forward. He did not flinch when the voice of the patrol commander echoed through the ship's speakers. "By order of Galactic law, you are charged with violation of Code 7, human interference in alien biology. You will stand before the council. Judgment will be swift." The mother pressed her son's small hand to her cheek. "Do not fear," she whispered. "You are alive. Whatever they do to us, you are alive." The boy's weak voice answered, "Because of them." His eyes drifted to the humans, filled with quiet wonder. The council hall. The trial chamber of the Galactic Council was vast, a circle of towering seats filled with alien leaders from across the stars. Their eyes, some glowing, some faceted, some hidden, turned toward the humans as they were marched inside. The captain walked at the front, bound but unbroken. Behind him, Ortega and Hale followed, pale but proud. Karen's eyes darted nervously, his jaw tight with fear. The mother was allowed to carry her son, who still breathed through the machine. Every hiss of air echoed in the silent hall, louder than any speech. The High Counselor, a tall figure with skin like glass, raised a hand. His voice boomed. "Humans of the vessel Artemis, you stand accused of violating the oldest law of our galaxy. You have crafted forbidden devices, altering the life of a species not your own. Do you deny this?" The captain's voice rang steady. "We do not deny it." A murmur spread across the chamber. Some voices hissed with anger, others whispered with fear. The counselor's eyes narrowed. "Then you admit guilt. Do you understand the weight of this crime? This law exists because humans cannot be trusted with boundaries. You reach where you should not. You change what should not be changed. You play with life as if it were clay." The captain stood taller. "We saved a child." The counselor's hand struck the air. "Silence." "The law does not bend for tears. The law does not care for one life against the balance of many. You knew the punishment, yet you acted." The mother's voice broke through, shaking but fierce. "Because they dared. Because when my people turned away, when the law called my son's death fate, the humans gave him breath. They broke your chains because mercy mattered more." Gasps rippled through the hall. Some council members shifted uneasily. Others scowled. The counselor's gaze burned into her. "Alien mother, you speak out of grief. Do not mistake emotion for justice," but the boy stirred in her arms. Slowly, weakly, he raised his head. His small eyes swept across the hall. His voice, faint but clear, carried farther than it should have. Breathe," he whispered. "Because of them." The hall fell silent. The machine hissed beside him, proof of human defiance and human genius. Every eye locked on the fragile child, alive when by law he should be dead. The captain's voice broke the silence. "Look at him, look well. Tell me this law serves justice when it demands his death." Tell me mercy is a crime. One counselor rose, her wings trembling with emotion. The humans disobeyed. But they saved life. Can the law not see the truth in that? Others shouted back. Dangerous. If humans are allowed, they will meddle in every life form. Today it is lungs, tomorrow what? New bodies, new species, chaos. The chamber erupted in argument, voices clashing like storms. The captain stood silent, his crew beside him, waiting for fate to be decided. At last the High Counselor raised his hand again. Silence returned, though it shook with tension. His voice was sharp as glass. The law is unshakable. Humans cannot choose who lives and who dies. If we allow this, the order of our galaxy will collapse. The sentence is death, the mother screamed. No, you cannot. They saved him. The boy clutched her hand, his lips trembling. No, no. The captain's heart pounded, but he did not bow his head. He stepped forward, eyes burning with defiance. If mercy is a crime, then I will wear it proudly. If saving a child is death, then let death come. But know this, every star, every world will remember what happened here. They will remember humans not for conquest, but for compassion, and you will fear that more than any weapon. The words cut deep. The chamber shook with divided voices, anger, doubt, fear. The counselor hesitated, his hand trembling above the final seal of judgment. And then, before he could bring it down, the boy's voice rose again. Stronger this time. They saved me, he said loud enough for all to hear. His small chest rose and fell with human-made breath. Humans gave me life. The hall froze. The law was iron. But a child's living breath was stronger than iron. The council's decision wavered, the galaxy itself holding its breath. The trial was not only of the humans. It was of mercy itself, and mercy had spoken. The council chamber was silent, but it was not peace. It was the silence of a storm waiting to break. The boy's words still hung in the air. Humans gave me life. The High Counselor's hand hovered above the seal of judgment, frozen. His glass-like skin reflected the child's fragile face, alive when the law had demanded death. Around the circle, council members shifted uneasily. Some whispered in anger, others in doubt. The law had never bent before. Could it bend now? The captain stood tall, chains on his wrists but fire in his eyes. He did not look away from the counselor. You heard him. You all saw it. This child lives because we refuse to obey a cruel rule. If you kill us now, you do not kill criminals. You kill the truth of mercy. The mother clutched her son, her tears shining as she held him high for all to see. Look at him. Look at the breath you would take away. Is this your justice? A law that punishes life instead of death? The boy coughed, but his small voice broke through the tension again. I live because they cared, whispers. Spread through the chamber like fire across dry fields. They broke the law. But the child breathes. Humans are reckless. Humans are merciful. The counselor struck his staff on the floor. Silence. His voice echoed like thunder. The law is older than any of us. It was made because humans cannot control themselves. They tinker, they build, they reshape the stars. If we allow this, they will change us all. The captain's voice cut through like a blade. You fear us because we dare to care. You call it danger. We call it humanity. The hall trembled with the clash of voices. Some counselors shouted for punishment. Others demanded mercy. For the first time in centuries, the council itself was divided. One elder with scales of silver rose slowly. His voice was deep and calm. I have lived long. I have seen laws protect us, and I have seen laws fail us. This law, this one, was built from fear. But fear does not feed life. Look at the child. His breath is not a threat. It is a gift, and it was given by human hands. A ripple of agreement spread, but the High Counselor's eyes burned. If we allow this, the humans will think themselves heroes. They will meddle again. They will not stop. The captain's gaze was unshakable. You are right. We will not stop. Not while there is life to save. Not while mercy is needed. That is what makes us human. The chamber fell into silence again. The counselor's hand trembled above the seal. Law or mercy, fear or hope. The weight of the galaxy pressed down. Then a sound broke the stillness, the boy laughing, weak but real. He breathed deeply through the machine, then looked up at the captain. See, I live, because he chose mercy. The High Counselor's hand dropped, but not onto the seal of death. His staff struck the floor instead. His voice was sharp, but it wavered. The council cannot undo the law today. But neither can we erase what we have seen. This child will live. These humans will walk free. Gasps filled the chamber. The sentence was not full mercy, but it was not death. It was a crack in the iron of the law. The mother collapsed in tears, clutching her son. The captain closed his eyes, relief heavy on his shoulders, though he knew the danger was not gone. The High Counselor's final words rang out. Go, but know this, the galaxy will watch you, and the humans' mercy, if left unchecked, may one day burn brighter than their weapons. Aftermath, the Artemis left the council world in silence. The crew sat together, weary but alive. The boy slept peacefully, the machine steady beside him. The mother approached the captain. She bowed low, tears in her eyes. I cannot repay you. You risked everything for us. My people called you dangerous. They were right, but not for the reason they feared. You are dangerous because you will not let us die. The captain's voice was quiet but firm. Dangerous mercy? That is what they fear most. She smiled through tears. Then let them fear. My son lives, and because of you the galaxy will never forget. The boy stirred, whispering in his sleep. Human mercy. Legacy word of the trial spread across the stars. Stories traveled faster than law, carried in whispers, in songs, in secret meetings. Everywhere beings spoke the same words. Beware the humans, not because they destroy, but because they save. In hidden corners, children repeated the tale. In silent halls, leaders debated it. And in the endless dark of space, the legend grew. Humans were not feared for their weapons nor for their strength. They were feared because they cared too much. Mercy, once forbidden, had become their most dangerous power. And though the galaxy still trembled with laws and fear, one truth had already broken free. No council, no commander, no law could ever erase the memory of a child's first forbidden breath, and the humans who gave it to him.